All right. What up? What up? What up? What is going on, everyone? How is everybody doing on this lovely? Not so lovely. I take that back, guys. It's lovely that we're back with a. I have to catch myself there. It's lovely that we're back with a brand new episode. I gotta be honest. As always, I'm Ivan, alongside Stefan. Yes, we are back with a brand new episode, but the vibes outside right now, boy oh boy, depending on where you are, because we have people who watch us from literally everywhere these days, but it could be rough, and especially for those of you who are like tri-state, northeast. I've heard like the Midwest is apparently getting some snow too. So it looks like the snow is just going all over the damn place. But anyway, as you can tell by the title of tonight's video, there's a guy who won't be going anywhere. Right, Stefan? How are you feeling, bro? And let's get into that and then some other stuff as always.
Hey, man. The moment I hear snow, you know what it tells me? Keep your cripple behind inside and watch the snow from the inside out. Hell no. So I had this bright idea because I thought about it. It's like, oh, you're going to be under heavy snow. Nobody's going to be outside. Everybody going to be tucked inside because it's cold as shit out and, it's snowing. So I was like, all right, why don't we just do a little impromptu live, little Q&A. We, you know what I mean? We talk to the people. We talk about a couple topics. We just spend the next, couple minutes vibing with y'all, man. Because Lord knows we ain't doing nothing. I'm sitting in the crib watching the end of this football game. You sitting in the crib, I'm sure, just, playing with your fingers. You in there with
he didn't go to sleep until 30 minutes ago, so he made it kind of rough. But
little man was making sure he gave daddy a run for his money tonight. Hey, real, man, bro. Listen. First and foremost, I know we in there having a good time and having fun, but please, man, stay off the roads, stay inside. Don't drive if you don't have to. Let the sanitation people and the snowplow people do their job. Don't go out there if you ain't got to. That's why me and this guy here, there's football on right now. Whatever you want to do, just keep your behind inside, man. And in all seriousness, please stay safe. I know we laugh and joke, but this is no joke, man. People, I've seen cars spin out. There's been updates on Twitter. This stuff is dangerous, and I'm sure Ivan, you drive, so you know all about what I'm talking about. But man, in all seriousness, man, if you don't gotta go nowhere, stay inside. We got snacks. We hunkered down here. I'm good to go, man. This is my perfect type of day. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I did go out earlier, not using the car, of course. I'm not that silly, because then I probably wouldn't be able to do the show right now because I would have been trapped somewhere. Who knows? But I did step out, and that snow it's pretty steep. It's deep, man. I gotta be honest. Earlier this morning, I stepped out to pull something out, and it wasn't really much. I went back out later again. It was near like the ankle area at that point. Tell me how. Right now it's what, 9:40. We're doing the show. I think the last time I stepped out was maybe about 3 hours ago, 6:30. Bro, it was at like the calf, the midway point of the calf. I was like, hold on now. How deep we going? So that's where I'm at. Depending on where you are, especially like, because I think the tri-state area really gets what's left over, especially when you consider like upstate. Like they get like upwards of 3 feet, 4 feet. It's no joke over there,
So, Ivan, the crib. I'm gonna tell you guys a quick. My crib. You come into my house, and there's the screen door, and then there's my regular door. Yo, the snow was so high, bro. You can't open the screen door.
So it's bad over there in New York, then, right? Because I don't know.
Yeah. Son, because if my crib, my screen door opens like nothing. You push it open, it opens, and we do. Bro, my mom went to go throw out some garbage earlier. Yo, out here, you got to Goldberg the screen door, bro. Or some Hulk smash. I was like, nah, man. Stay your behind inside and just chill, man. Hunker down with family. I even got little man in the crib with him. That's the best right now. Me, I've been on the phone with friends from all over the country. From we got family. My brother wants to move to Texas, so he's checking out the Texas weather. Even Texas got hit with some snow. Dallas, the Fort Worth area, parts of Houston.
Speaking of Texas, we got to talk Texas later tonight.
We are talking Texas. This is a good segue. Like that. Um, I know seriousness, man. Stay inside. If you anywhere in the Northeast, don't drive if you don't got to. I mean, you should have been. It was World War III in the supermarkets, brother.
Yeah. So late last night, we haven't even, what are we, like 5 minutes? But
Listen,
I hope
the
you guys are
baseball's gonna
enjoying the convo. No, for
we
sure. Yeah,
good,
you're right.
bro.
So late last night, I needed to grab some things for my son, right? And
Right,
Walmart
right, right.
closes at 11. But mind you, it wasn't a typical closing day for Walmart because with all the snow, that was happening today, everybody's doing the same damn thing. I ran in there, dude, and the lines literally at like 10:45 at night
Around the
looked as
corner.
if it was like the afternoon. I said, boy, everybody's doing the same thing I'm doing.
Everybody thought how you would be thinking. Yeah, man. And then you know what I don't like? So you got the listen, we're gonna get to the baseball in a second. We're just trying to give you a feel for what bothers us, okay? Little story, extra story time on the front end. You know what I don't like? When people treat this as if it's World War III. Yo, I'm gonna stock up on mad toilet tissue, mad paper towels, cases of water. We ain't going to war, bro. It's snow. It's gonna melt in a couple days. Now, I will say not to joke, but once that damp cold rain starts hitting, that's when it gets dangerous. That black ice, and you gotta drive. Nah, man, nah. But people treat this like it's World War III, bro. You should have seen people. Lines, people hoarding milk, hoarding paper towel, hoarding toilet tissue. Damn, you only gonna take but 2 or 3 dumps throughout the course of the day. What you need 8 rolls for, bro? Crazy, bro.
Yeah, I know what you mean. A lot of people, and I blame the media too. The media and I think the government play a big part in like
They
getting
make
this
it hot.
information out. So when you really like amplify it to the point where people really gotta like act quickly, even though sometimes this one I think is living up so far to what they were
To the
saying.
hype.
So they
Yeah,
were
yeah,
right.
yeah,
But
yeah.
there's been plenty of other times, especially like when I think back to when I was younger, you
Yeah.
hear what the news would say, you look out the next day and it's like, wait, so this is what y'all were raving about for how
Barely
long
got a
now?
Dustin. You've been talking about this crap for like a month now. Yo, we're gonna get snow and a blizzard. This
Nah, a
one,
month is crazy, bro. Yo,
nah.
imagine prepping for a blizzard for a full 30 days.
Armand, where are you? You got 8.5 inches. Where are you in the city, bro? You like south of the city? Because
You approaching the foot there now, bro.
Sox fans said we got slammed in the south of Boston. I can only imagine what you guys got hit
They
with.
probably got like maybe 2 feet or more.
Y'all got hit with, as we like to say, that's that bullshit.
Yeah, he said it, 2 feet.
2 feet is crazy. Oh, he's in Jersey. Damn.
Holy cow.
Damn.
So we could all relate. That's the good thing.
You know what I mean? Listen, well, I can't relate to y'all because this is the one time where I thank God I'm in a wheelchair, yo. So I don't have to physically go out there and deal with that. But for the people that physically got to go out there and deal with that, y'all the real MVP. Y'all the real MVP because I'm out on all that.
I gotta go out tomorrow morning. Probably while my son is up in the morning having breakfast to clean my car because I haven't done it yet. What's the point in cleaning now if it's gonna be snowing all day? I gotta clean it a second time.
Yo, reporting live from work about to get this untaxed overtime. That is crazy, bro.
Rick, hold on. First of all, welcome, Rick. And this
What's
is like
good,
perfect
bro?
timing. You at work right now while the world is collapsing?
Son.
Nah, get it while you can, though, bro. I respect
Get that
it.
bread. Salute. I'm close to Hoboken. All right. Oh, you went Frank Sinatra, and you know what I mean? Got you out here. I got a guy coming tonight to plow my drive. I mean, I hear you. I hear you, bro.
Sox fan reacting quick, getting that out the way.
Yes, sir. I'm at the ballpark. Damn. And I know it's colder than a witch's tit outside.
Shout out to Rick enjoying this snowstorm
Rick.
in City Field, bro.
Razor, tell me you're not roaming right now, bro. Like for real, for real.
Even he got to be cold because Rick is a pretty tall dude. He's a big dude, but yo, still, you got to find ways to keep warm.
He said, "Boo." Yeah, Pat's in the Super Bowl, by the way. The Dynasty.
Oh yes, I did see that a few minutes before we actually hit the mics. I saw.
By the way, they were playing in Winter Wonderland for real. Yo,
it's snowing over there too.
Yo, first quarter was cool. Second quarter, you see a little bit of snow. Middle of the third quarter, yo, son, you can't even see the field.
That's crazy.
They didn't even know where to spot the ball. That was wicked.
Wow.
I was like, damn. But hey, if I ain't playing in it, I'm cool.
Nah, credit to them for being able to play in that, bro. Because I don't know.
I'm sitting in my car right now on break. Yo, that's crazy, bro. Yo, all right. Anybody get into the bag right now that's watching us? Wilson, we know you work in the healthcare profession. So if you check in at some point tonight, we're gonna check in on you. Chef Mamba, let us know where you at, man. Everybody that's in here on the regular TD, even pop your head out, man. We want to know you all right, man, because this weather out here is no joke. Speaking of no joke, and I hate to start the show. I mean, we 11 minutes in. I feel like we just went through a 12-minute monologue about snow. I feel like junior meteorologist out here, but I respect Jose Ramírez. I respect the loyalty. I respect all of that, right? But I'd be lying to you if a part of me wasn't angry. Not so much at him, but at the Guardians. And maybe a little bit at his agent. Not so much at him, but at his agent. You know there's a work stoppage coming in less than 11 months.
Right.
And it's like, yo, dog, how is this good for business? Somebody please explain. He got a 7-year deal at the start of 2022. His original deal was a 5-year deal for just over $40 million. Then he re-ups and signs a 7-year deal for, I think I saw $141 million.
Right.
And then you give him this deal, which takes it to about 7 years, $175. But if you really do the math, he's only getting 4 years of new money.
Yeah, because it was he still had 3 years, I believe, remaining on the previous deal.
Yeah. So he had 3 years remaining on the previous deal at, I believe, $69 million. So this adds 4 years at $106 million. By the way, 70 of the 106, I think, is deferred.
Right.
So he's making $25 million average annual value, and then he's getting $10 million of that is deferred. And I'm just like, I get loyalty. I get loyalty. I get trying to do the right thing by the organization that gave you a chance. By the way, he was undrafted in 2009. He came out of the international signing bonus pool. You know what I mean? I get the loyalty. But I got to ask this, bro, strictly from a business standpoint. Forget baseball for a second. This is me and you conversing with the family, as we like to say. After I gave you one discount and you showed me you couldn't win on the field, I'm a fool to give you another one.
Right.
Bro, am I tripping, bro?
No, I thought all along, even dating back to what he originally had gotten from the Guardians back then, was not something that he was worth, easily today. Like if he were to hit the free agent market now I know he's 33 years old. I see what some of you guys are saying there in the chat, and it does make sense, right? Especially when I see what Shrek says there about it being more about like security, considering that he's now about to enter the mid to late 30s point of his career. And he doesn't have much time left to kind of like cash out, if that makes sense, right? So in a way, while it never really lived up to what he should have ultimately earned for as good as he's been for the Guardians. By the way, man, the city of Cleveland, they got to have 2 statues of LeBron James and Jose Ramírez side by side. I know Jose Ramírez, didn't win a ring, but boy, what he's been doing for them and for how cheap too. And then it's crazy too, because when I heard what happened I'm like, wow, it's kind of crazy how I think it was about a week or two ago. Weren't we here thinking of like, yo, where can he go if, he finally does leave Cleveland? While we knew that maybe he wasn't going to go anywhere, right, all along, but just kind of throwing things out there. And I think some of you guys were here for that. And here we are, right? Just a few days later, and we're hearing that he wants to remain in Cleveland for life. Both of his daughters are from there. I think stability, right, plays a big role in him wanting to stay there. It seems like he's accustomed to, I guess, Jose Ramirez he won't say this himself, but I think if I were him, it sounds like Dominican Republic and Cleveland, those two places are home, bro.
So I'll say this. He reminds me of a 90s ball player in the sense that his contracts are very 90s. He reminds me of a Cal Ripken. He reminds me of a Derek Jeter. He reminds me of a Tony Gwynn that stood in one place for their entire life as the Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl. Shout out to Seattle. We see you, Ali.
Wow.
It reminds me of Tony Gwynn. It reminds me of all those guys that were forever franchise players. And he seems like he's one of those guys. Listen, I want to be remembered as playing Cleveland. I want to be remembered as the guy who, took all the franchise records and set new records and was the face of the franchise. And I think it's fair to say this. I think he might be the greatest player in the history of the Indians and Guardians. When it's all said and done, he might be the best player to put on that uniform. Well, how can you say that? Well, they had Manny, they had Jim Thome, they had Albert Bell, we know who they had. But the difference between them and him is they all left. He stayed. So whether or not you want to say, oh, that's asinine to say, he might be the greatest Cleveland Guardian / Indian in the history of the franchise. And I don't think it's particularly close. I really don't. He's going to end up with over 2,000 hits, maybe even 3,000 if he keeps going the way he's going now. He's already got over 280 home runs for his career. I mean, the guy is the guy is the quintessential, like, yo, I'm a loyalty guy. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to be here. I'm going to build something here. The only question I have for him is I understand the comfort and the ability of wanting to stay in one place. And I'm not disparaging of that. He's also made over $370 million in his playing career. So who are we to say what's bad for somebody, what's good for somebody? That brother got paid. So he's probably telling people like us to take a long walk in the snow and get hypothermia. Right? Like, he don't care what we think. But I'm just talking about strictly from a business standpoint. If you made 370 plus million, I'm just thinking about the millions he left on the table.
I know, yeah.
That's nasty.
Right.
That is and I tell you this. He's probably like, yo, I made enough money. I made more money than I know what to do with. Coming from DR, coming from impoverished circumstances, I did what I wanted to do. Sometimes it's not about the World Series or being, yo, I was just about to check on you, dog. We just was asking about you. You know what I'm saying? I understand the loyalty. I understand coming from where he comes from. Sometimes money isn't everything. And I guess that was what a quote is a couple years ago. I just want to be happy. I could care less about the money. And I'm happy in Cleveland, and Cleveland is home. Okay. We can all, I can respect that. But a player as good as him, it's like, yo, damn, get the hell up out of there, bro.
I do want to add on another thing, too, when it comes to this Jose Ramirez stuff. And this might come off as negative. And I'm not, trying to knock Jose Ramirez. I love him. I've been a fan of Jose Ramirez dating back to when he was teammates with Frankie Lindor and watching those two. That was something special for those who remember.
Sure. Yeah.
But the first deal that we all were like, why do that? It made no sense then. Even now, what he's doing now, like considering his age and the fact that, going back to your point, and what everybody else is thinking. Do you know what would be out there in terms of a deal, even if it was short term? A 33-year-old Jose Ramírez that is still an elite player, forget about it. But the first time you could actually, cut him some slack, because it was like, all right, it seemed like the team had lied to him. They said, yo, we're going to give you this amount of money. He agreed with it because he thought that they would go ahead and reinvest into like other players rather than giving him whatever it was that they can afford at the time. So it was like, all right, listen, you agreed to it. They told you one thing. Years went by. It clearly ended up being another thing. So that's not your fault. But now that you are committing to Cleveland and the organization for the rest of your career, I don't ever want to hear Jose Ramírez go on a podcast. I don't want to ever hear him speaking to a reporter. Anything along those lines when it comes to, I feel like they're not trying. No, not anymore. The fact that you got this second deal from them, you, as bad as this may sound, keep quiet, enjoy Cleveland for what it is, and that's all it is now, bro. Would you agree?
Of course, it's the fool me one time. Like, yo, all right, I believed in the vision the first time. You fooled me. You told me you were going to bring in more plays. You told me you're going to spend more money. This is what I'm about to get to. TD, you're right. It's a business. And you know what everybody's looking at him saying? Because it's a business, dog. You a goddamn fool. Because you know what happens? The next free agent that wants to get paid is looking at him like, you played yourself, and now I got to blow up myself because you're one of the best players in the game. You could have made over $400 million in one deal, but you sitting here loyal to this franchise that have not shown you nothing but mediocrity. What have they put around him in the 10 years plus he's been in Cleveland, other than Lindor, as you mentioned, when he was first coming up? They've given him nothing. Now, we don't know what a Manzardo is. We don't know what any of these young kids are yet. So maybe we need to reserve some judgment. But history shows us you don't spend money on free agency. It's like literally pulling teeth to get you to spend a couple dollars. Yeah, it's business, but it's the bad kind of business. The Guardians owner has been notorious for having payrolls below $100 million. So now we're going to act like it's going to change? I read something today. His Ramirez's money alone is taking up 40% of the Guardians' payroll.
Wow.
What are we talking about here? I understand. Say that again.
40% is crazy, bro.
That's insane. On one guy. When you know the ownership is never going to put a team around you worth you staying there. I don't understand that. Like, I don't understand. And I get it. Maybe, again, maybe it's a culture thing. Maybe it's, you know what? Coming from Dominican Republic, where I come from, I'd be a fool to turn down this much money. I'd be a fool to leave the only organization I've known. Maybe the fear of the unknown is something that he's not willing to venture out and play around with. None of that. So maybe that's why he stayed. My only pushback will be, damn, yo, you're too talented to be stuck in Cleveland. Now, I'm sure the fans appreciate it. I'm sure Guardian fans are looking at me like they're going to kill me on TikTok. Shut the hell up. What you talking about? He did what was best for him. Fine. But in doing what's best for him, you gave the owner an out. Because now the owner's like, he's good here. He's content here. He don't really care whether we spend money or not because he's here till he's 40 years old. Right. So what we do from here on out means nothing just as long as he gets his money. Cool. Cool. I'm there. I'm here for that. But as you said, I don't want you going on no podcast. I don't want you going on no other platforms, other mediaries saying, yo, they lied to me. They put a plan out there and they told me that this is what they was going to do. Because I got something for you.
You gotta look into voice acting, bro, because you're too good. It's like having 3 people do the show. It's me, you, and Jose Ramírez is right here with us.
Am I lying, bro?
No, you're not. You're not.
Because he
Absolutely
said that
not.
on he said that on other podcast.
Yeah,
Yo,
the last time, to go back to what I had said a few minutes ago. So when I remember when we spoke about him a couple weeks back, we were referencing those same conversations, right? When he opened up about, the inside agreement that he came to with the Guardians, and the fact that they didn't live up to it. Yeah, I remember all of it, of course.
so I gotta hit him with one of these.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
You played yourself. Because now there's no sympathy. Now there's no damn, yo, they ain't putting nothing around J-Ram. They ain't, you know what I mean? Look, that's why I got no sympathy for Mike Trout.
Yeah.
Hell no.
He's another one.
I got no sympathy for Mike Trout and the J-Rams and the dude. Oh, I want to be loyal. Byron Buxton, you another bird. You want to stay in Minnesota and do what? Do what? You way too injury prone and too darn talented to stay in a city where they have no intentions of spending money.
I feel like today being loyal to teams is not what it once was. To go back to what you said, early in tonight's show, Stefan, about it not being what it once was, but in this case, J-Ram being the prime example of what was once a norm, right? We used to see a lot of guys stay with one franchise,
right,
whether it be 15, 20 years for a lot of these guys too. And José Ramírez, he's going to be another guy who's added onto that list, not just to baseball, but when it comes to sports, period.
Okay. So he said the Angels surrounded Trout with talent. Okay. Tell me when. Albert Pujols was done. He was on the downside of his career. Josh Hamilton rediscovered that cocaine existed when he hit Anaheim. What CJ Wilson was done when he walked into the Angels. What talent did they surround him with?
When it comes to talent, right? The only talented player that really made me, drop my jaw when I saw him play was Ohtani.
Rodon played in 4 games. Stop.
Well, Shrek, to your point here, Pujols and Rendon, those were terrible experiments. So that was a way of them trying. But the last option, Ohtani, is the only one that worked out. And even that didn't work out because they didn't make the postseason. So I take that back.
Right. Yeah, they lucked up into Ohtani because he wanted to play on the West. It's not like Ohtani, they developed him, they drafted him, they brought him up and said, hey, come play. The work was already done for that. All they did was slot him in the lineup. What talent was he surrounded with? Same thing with this. Where's the talent for J-Ram? Fell off, but after they got there, but that's what I'm saying. They tried. They tried, but trying and doing is 2 different things.
Right.
I try to walk. That don't mean I'm successful at it. There's a reason why I'm sitting in the 4 weeks.
Yeah, honestly, I might sound crazy saying this, but Rendon, I kind of feel like he should be serving time for the amount of money that he robbed from that organization. He should be in jail.
To quote the great Ted. There's a wrestler by the name of what's his name? Anyway, he was an old dude, and he goes, Bundy, you're stealing money. You're stealing money from the promoters. Talking to Ted Bundy, and he was basically saying, yo, dog, what do you do? You stealing money from those dudes,
right?
We're not crying about Trout. What we're saying is, I don't want to hear an excuse from Mike Trout as to why the team never won. You could have got the hell up out of there, but you didn't. You took the money and you tucked tail like José Ramírez to me. You took the money and you good with whatever happens.
Isn't it crazy how Trout, for example, and of course José Ramírez are 2 players who could literally hit up the front office right now if they wanted to and said, yo, I want to be traded by tomorrow. So to have that power and not use it just because, and I respect it, right? Listen, for a lot of guys, winning a World Series is not that big of a deal. Always being in playoff contention is not that big of a deal. I want to give credit to something one of my friends said about this the other day. I don't know if he's watching right now, but if he is, shout out to Manny. He had said that José Ramírez, with him being on the roster for Team DR in the Classic, You better hope that they win that championship. That championship, he said, because that's the closest thing you might get to a ring.
See, but this is where your point makes no sense. It's not about the fans. That's bad. What we're saying is it's bad business. This ain't about no fans. This is bad. I'm talking about for his own constituents. Forget the fans. Don't nobody care about no fans. He's paid. You think he cares what you and I think on these microphones, Ivan? He don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about setting the precedent for the people that come behind him. You understand what I'm saying? The next free agent that comes up that's in his position say, damn, yo, you really hurt us out here. You know what I'm saying? There's still people mad at Ronald Acuña's agent for accepting that 8-year deal he took in Atlanta. You don't think there's agents and players right now in the game that are looking at José Ramírez like, yo, you is messing up the bag. What the hell is you doing? Get it up to at least 300 if you want to stay. Get it up to 350.
Right.
You taking 20 cents on the dollar. Ain't about the fans. It's not about the fans. This is not about the fans. Nah, bro. You can't know. Because what do we say all the time? We say all the time that these players, this is how they keep score, right? Don't we say this all the time on this very platform? Yo, if this person got this, what do I want? If his market value is X, I'm shooting for Z. Forget Y. I want Z. What I'm saying to you is, and
the other thing that's I think this offseason is a great example, right? When you look at what you just said, Stefan, because I think now what we're gonna start to see over the next few seasons and even longer, right? Less of the 7 to 10 year deals and more of the 3, 4, 5 year with
crazy
Kyle Tucker earning
value.
$60 million. Another guy maybe earning $75 million at one point. I wouldn't be surprised if within the next 2 to 3 years we see a free agent with an AAV that's like upwards of like 70 to 75 million, bro. We're that close.
Forget the next 3 years.
Don't say by next year.
Yes.
Damn.
If this guy just got 60, not next year's free agent class, but maybe the free agent class after that, somebody's walking away with $80 million.
Yeah.
And we can't look at them and be like, oh, that's crazy. You gave Kyle Tucker $60 million. And no disrespect to Kyle Tucker, but damn. And I wonder, this is what I wonder, Shrek. I'm not trying to start no drama. I'm just making conversation. I wonder, ask Bobby Witt right now. Give him truth serum. Say, yo, you just took that bag for 10 years, 11 years, 280. If you could redo it right now and hit the open market and be a free agent, you're looking at a $450, $500 million bag.
Yeah, it would have to be more like 11 at 480, maybe something like that.
Shit, you being nice. He probably hitting. You probably getting
580.
You probably getting close to 550.
Damn, right.
Because how old would he have been when he hit the free agent? Because they bought out all his arbitration years.
Mm-hmm.
Son, hold on.
Now, of course, you guys are keeping him, Shrek, but this is more of like a what if,
Owners will look to take away a bag away. Thank you, Armand. You think these owners want to see you get this much money? They're glad José Ramírez took about the money.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
The Dolan family is glad José Ramírez took them for a discounted rate. You crazy, bro?
They're over there cheering. We got him again.
What? Yo, the owner's popping champagne right now, my nigga.
Right. We got him 2 for 2.
When a player argues that arbitration in the last 2 seasons and they get to compare the rules to any other player, and so when raise up, hold on, bro.
Especially if they come up in the same organization, right? That also matters.
Razor, I gotta give you one of these, bro, because you out here just he's out here just come like what are we talking? You out here preaching, my boy. And dudes ain't even go to church because we snowed in all day, but he's doing the Lord's work on a Sunday night. Thank you, bro. What I'm arguing is it waters down the opportunity for the next free agent to say, yo, I want the most money, but why can't you be like José Ramírez, who took the most money they could possibly get? Why does it matter?
Especially for small market teams, right? Small market teams could now use the Guardians as an example, like the Pirates. You know, when we finally find out, and their offer is never going to live up to what Paul Skeens is ultimately going to get. But when we find out what they offer, right, to Paul Skeens, that's going to be a slap in the face.
Son.
It really is. But not to say that Paul Skeens is a J-Ram, right? One is a position player, one is a pitcher.
One is a pitcher, right?
I'm just thinking of small market teams, and to go back to your point, the comparisons that they could make, right? Like now the Pirates could throw out, I don't know what out there, hear the fan base go off and, you know, curse them out, whatever. They could be like, yo, but what happened? We just offered him this. Like, look at what the Guardians just did. Like, I thought this is okay to do.
Hold on. There's no such thing as a small market when the Rays make more money. You know why they make that money? Because they're one of the top earners in revenue sharing. That's why they make that money. The Rays, Pirates, Rockies, and I think there's a few other franchises. You know how much they get in revenue sharing per year, bro? About 70 to $75 million in revenue sharing alone.
Each team or altogether?
Each team gets that.
Wow, that's bank.
All the smaller market teams that are smaller market, like the Colorados, the Pittsburghs,
they benefit from big market teams.
They benefit from the big market teams spending money. So what happens is they get recompensed by saying, yo, all right, now you're gonna get this money as a form of trying to even it out. The problem with that argument is, you know what they do with that $70 to $75 million? They pocket it.
That should be illegal. That's where I think Major League Baseball needs to step in and say, well, hold on. There needs to be something that is absolutely mandatory when it comes to what you're benefiting off of these big market teams.
It is illegal, which is why they remember we started talking about why the Marlins spend the money. Why did this team spend? Why is the Pirates all of a sudden getting aggressive? You know why? Because now they're they could be, what's that called? They could be fined. There's a word for it. I can't think of the word. What the hell is the word? Where they basically have to show cause for why they're being given this money. And if you don't spend a certain amount of money by a certain time, you forfeit your internet, you forfeit the money you're being given.
Right.
So every couple of years, you see the smaller market teams spend because they don't want to forfeit the revenue sharing, right? Because they want to keep that money. That's why the A's gave out the extensions they gave out to Soderstrom, and they did Butler last year, and I think they did some other stuff. They gave Sevy his money. That's why the A's have gotten aggressive in terms of giving money, right?
Yeah.
So it happens, and a part of it is like, yo, we can all sit here and say what's fair and what's not. What José Ramírez did was give the Guardians a gift that they didn't deserve. I'm not saying the Guardians fans don't deserve a player like José Ramírez, because they absolutely do. They do. He exemplifies the hard work of the city. He's a blue-collar player. He does it the right way. He plays a complete game, and he's a phenomenal ball player. I'm saying ownership like the Dolans don't deserve a player like that.
Right.
They don't deserve a player like that, because it's not like you're going to give the player a chance to say, yo, let me put some players around you because you give him money back twice. Not once, but twice. And you're going to tell the dude we're broke, we can't afford it? What are we saying, bro? What are we saying? But I see a lot of comments, so let's get to these comments. And
yeah, there was one I wanted to highlight. I don't know if this guy is new. I personally have never seen him before. The Brock Hershey guy here.
What's up, brother? How are you?
I wonder if this plays a part in. Now, I know a lot of these smaller market teams, even though, we just talked about the money that they get from these bigger market teams, but I wonder if a lot of them use this, to their defense without even trying, right? Like, that's the bad part. Like, there's some teams that have this mindset right here where they view how bad some of these deals have turned out for some of these who can't afford it. And maybe they see it as like, hold on, I don't make nearly as much, and you want me to risk me not making nearly as much, and it could backfire on me, and I possibly get robbed in broad daylight.
It's crazy. Razor with the audited. The small market teams are being audited. The Marlins tried to justify it by saying they spent tons of money in player development, clubhouse improvements, and that should count. That's the word. Right? And maybe you should be audited. Maybe that needs to happen more.
Hold on, what cockroach business?
It's a team or owner that the player is stupid or naive enough. Okay. Then here's what I'm gonna tell you then. Just like he's stupid enough or naive enough or whatever, then I should have a right to criticize him for doing something stupid. And you know why it's stupid? Because how many players of his caliber, if he would have not taken that first deal, he signed his second deal before the 2022 season. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but the Guardians were getting ready to trade him to either the Blue Jays or the Padres.
Damn, to the Blue Jays would have went crazy.
So just think about this. For everybody that says, oh, he did the right thing, it's a business, right? Do you understand that they were on the 1 yard line with trade packages? They were getting ready to trade this brother. Do you know why? Because they were trying to work out an extension, and they're like, they weren't getting no rhythm. So what happens? The owner steps in, stops the trade, and says, yo, well, extend you. He would have been playing for either the Blue Jays or the Padres at the start of the 2022 season. And nobody sits there and bats an eye.
That's wild. I didn't know that, but it is interesting.
A lot of people don't. It came out today, and I'm like, we don't know what the return would have been, Armand. Because they went bankrupt. The Dodgers get an extra $6 million till 2039. I mean,
talk about having the game all figured out.
Shit, who you telling?
Like, from what you put on a baseball field, from an organizational standpoint,
it's amazing. And look, and here's what I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you this right now. The sad part is that Jose Ramírez is just a microcosm of, and I also think this plays a part too. Forgive me for going into this gray area, but we all family, and I could trust y'all because I don't have no ill will when I make this point. I feel like Latino players are taken advantage of. I think the language barrier when it comes to contracts and not really understanding how this all works, and your agent might speak Spanish or whatever, but the agent's trying to pocket some change too. So the agent's like, yo, take this money right now because we can pocket this and you can invest this and we can do all types of stuff with this. So I don't know how fair these agents are to these Latino players when it comes to getting extended. Because time and time again, how many times do you see a Latino player take a deal that's so disadvantaged, like so bad for them? So bad for them that you sit there and go, Ronald Acuna, you took 8 years at $100 million. Jose Ramírez, you took this money, and mind you, these are all agents. I think Jose Ramírez is represented by 2 Spanish agents. Ivan, you could Google that for me if you like, but I don't think his agents are one of the prominent agents. And so I just think it's when you start talking about stuff like that, I think certain players get taken advantage of because where they come from.
So he's represented by Rafa Nieves, who works for Republic Sports.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I respect it. Like, he's trying to get his client paid. But you telling me, and I'm just saying, you telling me, forget about Scott Boras, but you telling me if Casey Close was his agent, if no, it's not stupidity, bro. Stop. You got to understand the language barrier that exists for some of these players who don't speak the language. That's a real issue. And if you don't think that exists in the corporate world and in baseball and where these guys are being signed, then you don't really have a gist of what's going on here. That's not stupidity. Some people don't understand that some people are not fluent enough in the English language to articulate what's happening in the business world.
You know what it is too? Not only are we talking about it from a baseball standpoint as well, but you also see it in the music world. Like a lot of artists, even those who understand like full-blown English, they know everything about the alphabet, right? And they would literally come out a few years after signing their deal. Yo, I don't know what I put ink to paper on for. Like, I don't know what I read.
The two people I look at in this current situation, look at Meek Mill.
Yeah.
Meek Mill signed a 360 with Maybach Music and I think Universal. Meek Mill was like, yo, where my money at? But again, you talking about somebody who is not versed in the business, not versed in how money works, listen, it's hard to say what people know and what people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to say that. Look, and Razor said he likely just wanted to stay in Cleveland, and that's what they negotiate.
I think that's what this deal that we're here talking about with you guys tonight. To sum it all up, that's it right there, Rick. Yeah.
He wanted to stay there. He's happy there. He's comfortable there. But so we can say, listen, if we're being honest, you have no right to complain about anything anymore. You got your deal. You got your money. I don't want to hear you on another medium. I don't want to see you on podcast. I don't want to see you do none of that. Go play your game. Be Mr. Guardian for all I care.
Be happy with the good pitching that they always put around you, and that's it.
That's it.
Yo, by the way, speaking of the Guardians, man, I know we got no baseball to watch, but can we all remember just a few months ago the run that they went on, man, to snatch the division away from the Tigers? Yo, I mean, we were here to cover it, but now that we're talking about it, that was fun. And you guys remember, man, and Stefan was really early on it too.
Does the hometown discount? Obviously. Obviously, it still does.
I think he might have given the Guardians more than a hometown discount.
He went bargain basement shopping, brother.
Right.
You crazy. Oh my God. And here's the thing, right? You know what'd be funny? In a year or two, if he gets really bad and the Guardians are trying to move off that bread and they try to trade him and he don't want to go because he has 10-5 rights and he could veto any trade.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna laugh about where's the loyalty then when the organization wants to trade you because you old and not productive anymore.
That's gonna look bad.
What happened to loyalty then? Loyalty one way is stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
I can. But this ain't a football show, so I'm gonna leave my football.
I wouldn't have anything to say, to counter, to add on. Like, I'm just listening if we get to
Do we agree with the MLB Network top 10 players?
Who's the top 10? Let's see.
I don't really care. Because those lists are so subjective that. Is that the show that Brian Kenny hosts with the Shredder and determines who's the?
It's similar. I think you're thinking of the top 10 right now. They go around each position. That's what you're thinking of.
Okay. Brian Kenny is a bird. I hate that guy. He's bad for the game.
I think the top 10 is fair. It is fair. I took a quick glance at it just now. It seems
Read it off.
about right.
Read it off. Start from 10 to 1.
All right. So number 10, we have here Vladdy. We got
Vladdy
number
at
9, Corbin Carroll. Wow. I mean, Corbin Carroll, he's like a sneaky 5'2" player, bro. Like when you watch him, you would never think like he's a guy that could do it all. But number 9, ahead of Vladdy, I think it has to be because of 2 reasons. One, because he's a speedster, right? But also, 2, Corbin Carroll is a heck of a defender. And those are 2 advantages that he kind of has over Vladdy. But let's see. You got 8 School Bulls, 7 Skeens, 6 Juan Soto, and then the top 5 rounding out with Jose, Kyle Riley, Bobby Witt. Shout out to Shrek, Aaron Judge, and Shohei Ohtani.
That 5, I'm not mad at that 5.
Yeah.
But who the hell put Corbin Carroll 9th? We got to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised.
I'm not mad at that.
I know what he comes with as a player, but then I don't know. Ahead of Vladdy, yes.
Ahead of Vladdy's nuts. And you said Skeens and School were 7 and 8 or 8 and 7?
Back. Yeah, School 8, Skeen 7.
Who was the top 5 again?
Top 5 is Jose Ramirez, Kyle Riley, Bobby Witt, Aaron Judge, Shohei. So Juan Soto's not even top 5.
So I'm sorry, but I'm pulling somebody from the list.
From the top 5?
Hell yeah.
I got who in there?
Skeens or School. One of them brothers got to get in there.
Yeah.
You talk about a back-to-back Cy Young Award when a Bobby Witt Jr., you got to go.
Damn, Bobby Witt is crazy. Bobby, that's crazy.
Yo, son, you talking about 2 back-to-back Cy Young Award. You got to go.
I do agree. I think if you weren't going to put both of them in the top 5, I think at least either Skeens or School had to be top 5.
Right. So who gets pulled out from that list? Because I'm not pulling Bobby gotta go. The Royals didn't even make the play. Yo, you got to go.
Right.
Bro? See, this is why I hate lists.
So I do agree that one of those guys should crack the top 5. I want to start there. Here's where I have a problem, though. I don't know who exactly to remove. Like, so I'm gonna be honest. As a catcher, Kyle Riley, I think he's top 5. I think he's a top 5 player, bro.
Kyle Riley's top 5.
His position.
Yeah, he's top 5.
Judge, Ohtani, that's a given. They there every damn year, every year,
and they deserve to be there, right?
And then who we're talking about tonight, I think he's top 5, bro. Jose Ramirez. He's been doing it for how long now?
Okay,
so if he's not top 5, what? He's top 7. Because I saw you look there.
No, the reason why I'm taking Bobby Witt Jr. off this list, you ain't done it long enough to be on the list to me.
True.
You just got here last week.
Right.
J-Ram been doing this for years. What do you mean he's not top 5? This guy had how many MVP finishes Jose Ramirez has had when he was in the top 5?
Ooh, plenty.
For how many years?
Off the top of my head, let's see.
What are we talking about? He's not a top 5 player. You crazy, bro?
What Shrek said? He said he's go Ohtani, Judge, Witt, Schoolboy, Skeens.
Listen, Bobby Witt Jr. just by default of not being here. No, bro. Bro, hold on.
All right, I got the thing you just asked me for, Stefan. The top 5 finishes for Jose.
How many he got?
He's finished top 5 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
Jose Ramirez not a top 5. Are you out of your what?
6 times, probably a 7th now in 2026.
Nah, you're being a Red Sox fan. You gotta go.
TD, Crochet. No, you gotta stop that, bro.
You gotta go, bro. Seriously,
stop
that's
that,
crazy,
bro. No. I'll give you the first 4, but come on, not Crochet.
Done it more than Kyle. Kyle Riley has hit 60 home runs as a catcher, bro. What are we talking about? The Mariners just was in the championship series.
I think Shrek wants to see another 60 homer season from him.
You can see it all you want, but it happened already.
Yeah,
your man ain't never had a season like that.
Just rewatch the 2025 season.
Son.
Let's see.
Otani, Judge, Scooble, Skeens, Cal, Soto, Witt, J. Ram, Lindor.
That ain't bad.
Yeah, but you're being a Met fan, though. You're being a Met fan because Lindor's not on this list for me. You're being a Met fan.
Yo, Lindor, listen, I know statistically when you look at batting average, RBIs,
I'll give you
hits,
Lindor now.
Lindor isn't really up there with some of these guys, but when you look at a baseball player all around, and this is more of like the analytical stuff, Lindor has a slight advantage over a lot of these guys. Like I saw this one thing the other day. I think it was like Otani, Judge, Soto, and I think Lindor was like right behind him for I forgot what the stat was, but
this is an arguable point right here. This I can argue. We can argue this.
They're also similar, like how they play is very similar, right? They're both good with the bat. They both got some speed. They're both really good defenders.
This I can argue too. I can argue this. I can argue.
So hold on. So maybe Armand don't look all that bad.
No, maybe you don't, bro. I'm sorry. My apologies. Maybe you're not. Maybe you don't. Because I could argue for that.
Right.
Because to me, is it unfair that I'm penalizing him that he plays first base? To a degree, yes.
Mm-hmm.
To a degree, yes. Because you're talking about Lindor who plays shortstop, chin short. Then you know what? If you're gonna tell me you put Bobby Witt on the list instead of Corbin Carroll, I'll buy that.
Mm-hmm.
Pull Corbin Carroll from the list and put Bobby Witt up there. But Bobby Witt should not be in the top 5.
Yeah.
He got to keep going. Yeah, you're right. That's why he shouldn't be on the list either.
Remember, he had a heck of a rookie season, right?
And then he fell off a cliff.
Came back.
And then he came back. But I'm not going to excuse the fact you fell off a cliff, my boy. This Armand with a good point. Lindor had 2 back-to-back 30-30 seasons. I can't disagree with you. To me, the 2 guys that I would probably say are question marks on this list for me are Bobby Witt and Corbin Carroll.
Mm-hmm.
Just for longevity purposes. And you could argue, well, Vladdy only put it together for the first time this year, full year.
Well, he finished top 3 in MVP. I forgot what year it was, but he has done it one time.
He done it one time. Okay. But I'm saying how is that crazy, bro? This I got to see more because I was high on him when he first came up, and then he kind of he took a step back too. Speaking of the Rangers, boy,
they went from already having, the best rotation in baseball in 2025 because they, as a team, they finished with as a team, they finished with the lowest ERA. They were number 1. And for them to go out there and add now Makenzie Gore to what they already had with Jacob deGrom, Nathan Eovaldi, who eventually, had to be shut down, but was having a hell of a season. At one point, I remember it was Garrett Crochet, it was Tariq Skubal, and Nathan Eovaldi. Like a lot of people will forget about him, but he was a dog over there with the Rangers.
And here's the thing. Now look at this 5. You put this 5 together on the table. Health permitting now. I'm on stress, health permitting. Oh, boy, they're never healthy, and we get it. That's why I'm going to start the sentence with health permitting, guys. Jacob deGrom. Eovaldi, as you mentioned. Makenzie Gore. Jack Leiter. Merrill Kelly. Kumar Rocker's like your 6th pitcher.
Probably, yeah.
That is crazy, bro. Son.
Hold on. Did Merrill Kelly, is he still on a deal there?
No, he went back to the D-backs, right? I think he went back to the D-backs, if I'm not mistaken.
He's going back to Arizona, right?
Yeah. So, all right.
But even still, that 1 through 4 is crazy, though.
Jack Leiter, Jacob deGrom, Makenzie Gore, and Nathan Eovaldi.
That's what I'm saying.
That's insane. And Kumar Rock is your fifth starter.
Right.
Son.
Listen, I saw what most of these guys could do together in 2025.
That's crazy, bro.
And I was a big fan, again, going back to what I just said about Evaldi and what he did before he had to get shut down. I was definitely a big fan of seeing the Jacob deGrom resurgence and seeing him go back to his old form. Here's the one negative. The two guys that I'm not sure, because I think with this type of rotation and then finally moving on from Adolis Garcia, bringing in a guy like Brandon Nimmo from the Mets, who isn't going to age well, but does he fit what they're looking for right now in terms of having that bat that they so desperately needed last year? Because I remember we were here in like maybe August, maybe early September, still trying to give the Rangers some hope. Like, yo, when is the offense finally going to get it going? The pitching has been doing its job all season long until it got to a point where the Mariners were like, all right, we wrapping this thing up. Like, it's ours. And that's how it turned out.
This is the thing. Texas's pitching is insane. You still you haven't addressed that lineup to the point where I don't feel like, you're good enough. Even with that pitching as great as it is, that lineup still has a lot of holes in it.
The thing that worries me too, and while they both had good seasons last year, I'm afraid that two guys such as Jacob deGrom and Nathan Eovaldi won't be able to hold up to go on a deep playoff run. Maybe they prove me wrong, right? Like if all the pieces are put well together and everything works, for the Rangers when it's all said and done, this could look really, really good. But when I look at how guys, and listen, these are guys who have been pitching for quite some time, right? Of all these, 35, 36? DeGrom is like right there with him. DeGrom is 37.
DeGrom's 37. Wow.
Like, asking these guys, once they start to pass like the 22, 24 game started, like you have to really consider, are we kind of pushing these guys to the limit because they're getting up there in age?
So I'll tell you this, right? This is why I said injury permitting. I also think Makenzie Gore is really inconsistent. So the one thing that if you're the Rangers, you want to get him to be more consistent, right? Because his ERA has been in the fours each of the last 3 seasons. I think he was in the high fours each of the last 3 seasons. And I'm just like, the stuff is good, right? The stuff is good, but he doesn't do enough mixing of his pitches. Like he's very predictable. All right, you're nodding your head. What do you got?
Nah, you're right. Yeah, his ERA wasn't a force. But he's big on strikeouts though. The past 2 seasons, he finished close to 200 Ks.
So I wonder if a guy like Jacob deGrom can get him to be like, hey man, do this. Throw this in this count instead of throwing your fastball. No, he's already in Texas. He's already a Ranger. He's a Ranger, TD.
TD, where you been at? Where you living under a rock? It's the snow. It's all that snow. He's underneath it.
I will tell you this. What they gave up to get him, though, I feel like that's quantity over quality.
5 players it was, right?
Yeah, 5-player deal, and they gave up they gave up the number 2 prospect, I think, a short third baseman that's like 18 years old. All right, like they gave up a lot. Here's my only question is Makenzie Gore worth that much? And if you're the Nationals, did you get anything of value? Because none of these kids are in the top 100.
Right.
At least from what I saw, none of these kids are in the top 100 of
my other issue with the Rangers too is if you were gonna give up the amount of talent that you just gave up to acquire Makenzie Gore now, why didn't you, put some more effort into getting better bats? Like the only bat that I think really stands out in that Rangers lineup when I looked at what they did last season is having Brandon Nimmo now. But that's not really spectacular, if I'm being honest. It's really not.
I mean, that's the new addition you're talking about, but we expect more from a Seager.
Oh,
Like Wyatt Langford has to take the next step. I remember when Wyatt Langford first came up, I like this kid. You got to see him take the next step, right? At some point, the players that you are hoping, the young players exclusively, that you're hoping take the next step offensively, now they have to, because you weren't aggressive in terms of trying to acquire a bat. So what happens now if your offense is relatively the same and your pitching is great? You just wasted another year. And by the way, Makenzie Gore is 1 year closer to free agency. And if he puts it together, he might be out of your price range completely, where he starts talking about, I want 220 to 240 million.
I wonder if the Mets, not the Mets, excuse me, the Rangers finally moving on from Marcus Semien to, of course, send him to the Mets is something that benefits him now in 2026. Because I don't know how true this is, but apparently there's been some chatter about like Corey Seager and Marcus Semien back when they were teammates. They didn't really see eye to eye. I'm not sure what that was related to. But ultimately, the Rangers decided that Corey Seager was going to be their guy, and they had seen enough in Marcus Semien. Maybe now, the offense, guys are, having less disagreements. Things maybe aren't going to be as rough as it was for them, despite what was going on, right? Because all of this is chatter until like somebody really comes out with a story like, Semien and Seager were really beefing. I don't want to put too much into it, but I have read things about that at least 2-3 times.
No, that's been a thing that's been talked about. They've had multiple disagreements. They didn't have any skirmishes, anything physical, but the verbal altercations they have were well documented. Where Semien tried to get the team to go on team dinners and be a cohesive unit, and Seager's like, "Nah, I'm over here just doing my own thing. I'm not here for the happy, joy, kumbaya. Let's be a big, happy family. That's not my bag. It's not what I'm here to do. No, thank you." Right? I'm here to play, right? And most players, that's what they do. They're here to play, right? And I just think sometimes team chemistry matters. And I wonder if they look at Semien and they're like, you out here trying to be team unifier, rah, and you hit 250, you hit 245 last year. Might have even been lower than that. I might be even giving them some points, right? Like, you weren't great offensively.
You know what's weird too? I also heard the flip side, where a lot of people have praised Marcus Semien for being a good clubhouse guy, being a guy who could really get the guys going, And it's like, so I'm hearing both. Which one is true? Or is both true?
I think both is true, but I also think that lack of production starts to play a part. Like, you can't be all about team when you couldn't even hit the ball if it was right on the side of right if they put the ball on the tee for you, bro.
Right. You weren't, you're no longer who you once were.
See, I gave him 15 points. He hit 230. So we could sit here and talk about rah and being a rah guy, but you can't be rah if you out here hitting 230, my boy. Yeah. At some point, the message gets stale because you're not putting up the kind of numbers where you can say, we need to hit the cage early. We should get stretching in. My boy, you in a season-long slump and nobody can help you get out of it. That's why I'm very curious to see what the Mets offense looks like. Not to make this a New York segment, but Semien hit 230 last year. Luis Robert hit 220, I believe. Like, you got a lot of guys that offensively, there's a lot of question marks there. Now, if it all hits, boy, did they hit a home run. But Luis Robert coming off of 2 down seasons, and I'm being kind.
Could you? I don't want to speak this, into existence for Mets fans. So Armand, I want to apologize in advance. But could you imagine if Marcus Semien on the Mets continues to decline, Maurice Robert continues to not remain healthy?
Stop.
Steady Field, that could be your reality in just a few months, bro.
And I'm hoping. I tell you that I'm hoping not. Because he said, "Oh God," I'm hoping not, because I like both of those ball players and I see the upside in bringing them in terms of they're good clubhouse guys. Freddie, for all account, Freddie Peralta is a good clubhouse guy. So you see what the Mets are trying to establish in the sense that clubhouse culture matters. Clubhouse culture matters. It does play a part, and like Shrek points out here, at least you get a Gold Glover on defense, which is what the front office has been preaching, is run prevention and being better on defense. So they do fit the mold there. The only thing my only question is like, how much of a good clubhouse presence or is that? How much is that going to last if they both struggle offensively and the production isn't where they need it to be? They could be patron saints, but in this, you're in New York. This ain't Texas or Chicago. They will boo you quick, fast, and in a hurry. Right. Like in Texas, it's all right. Bless your heart. You try. You get them tomorrow, child. You know what I'm saying? In Chicago, they just trying to make it out the South Side alive. You know what I mean? They ain't worried about going to a baseball team. You got people getting stabbed at U.S. Cellular Field and shot. Speaking of Chicago, quick little sidebar. Shout out to Derrick Rose, getting that number 1 retired by the Bulls. One of Chicago's own got his number retired by the Bulls. Hand clap one time for the Bulls for doing that right one time. Shout out to D Rose.
Yo, those Bulls teams with Noah, with D Rose, Luol Deng, Kyle Korver. Who else am I missing? Carlos Boozer,
young Jimmy Butler.
Yo, bro, they were good.
Taj Gibson, Joakim Noah, right?
They were good. And your boy, your former guy was the head coach.
Tibbs.
Yeah.
Tibbs.
I remember.
No, listen, look, and Razor makes a good point here. They're trying to fill it out with depth, similar to the Dodgers.
I heard they want to put Beatty in left field. I was reading about that earlier today.
I don't know if I like that, but let's see about that. Athletes will figure it out. We'll see. I also think Beatty can still be a trade chip depending on what type of spring training Carson Bench has. Like if Carson Bench forces the Mets hand to take him up north with them, you might see a trade at the end of spring training where there's no place for Brett Beatty. Although they might find a place for Brett Beatty to play, but if your plan is to put him out in left field, that also means that you might not have full confidence in whether Benj is ready to go. I could be misreading that, but that's just what it feels like to me.
By the way, I have a question. Has everybody already given up on Mark Vientos? Does anybody have faith that he could bounce back and have a season similar to what he did in 2024? I know 2025 was really bad for him, but if Mark Vientos has a bounce back season, bro, that's a huge plus.
If Mark Vientos has a bounce back first half, they're finding the nearest trade for that brother quick, fast, and in a hurry, bruh.
Well, yeah, you could do that too.
What?
Yeah.
Quick, fast.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. You saw that comment there by Shrek? The Bichette to second is normal, but Simeon to third, him being the better defender would make more sense.
That actually makes sense if they do it that way, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Shrek.
And you know what's crazy is that Bo said that he's willing to move. I wonder if Simeon goes up to the front office and says, no, don't move him, move me. Let me move over here. Let it, you know what I mean? If he's more comfortable a second, I want him to do whatever it takes.
I would do that if I were Simeon. I'd be like, listen, man, I only got a couple more
years left. Right.
Go to where you want to be at. Let me do what it is that I could do with the glove still at this point in my career, and things will work out for us.
Maybe that's a possibility too. Although Mark Vientos at first base, from the little bit we saw there, that was not pretty.
Oh yeah, Vientos, he's a little shaky defensively.
Yeah. But listen, they're trying to augment it. They got a lot of depth, which is what you want. But this Texas offense, I know we just I made a quick Met point, but this Texas offense, my God, with that pitching for you to basically run out the same offense. By the way, you're weaker because there is no Jonah Heim. You released him. Adolis I get it. He couldn't hit the side of a barn last year. By the way, if he goes to Philly and tears it up, boy, you're gonna be looking stupid in the face.
Right. Yeah.
Looking all types of stupid in the face
I,
because you
I
like,
also I also think he no longer wanted to be there because I remember when his name started to, be put out there. There was one time he had left a comment under a post on social media. I don't know if he left like an emoji or an actual comment with words, but I do recall it being something along the lines of like him, not really caring much about what was happening, and
right?
it kind of seemed like he was ready for what was next at that point.
This is interesting comment.
Well, listen, you hope Beatty is better than what McNeil is now, because if you go back, now you got to go back a few years, but McNeil once upon a time, he was nasty with the bat. Yeah. He had a couple of seasons where he finished with an average above 300. He won that one batting title.
Yeah.
And for some time, now it was brief, but for some time, it seemed like McNeil was going to be a guy who you could hold on to for the future. And here we are in the future. It didn't work out like that.
Nah, there's been a couple moments where he looked shaky at first base, bro. If you look at some of the stretches, some of the way he approaches the bag, he approaches it kind of shaky, and he's not great with pop-ups. He's dropped a few in the infield. He wasn't the great. Maybe he turns it around and becomes an adequate defender. If you're the Mets right now, all you want him to do is be an adequate defender, because if that bat turns out to be anything special, you got one. You know what I'm saying? So
I want to quickly go back to the Rangers and the addition of Makenzie Gore. How about those starting rotations in what the Rangers have now with Gore and what the Seattle Mariners still have, right? Like that NL West. Now I know the lineups are very different. Yeah, sorry, excuse me, AL West. The lineups are very different. I certainly give the edge to the Mariners when you consider Julio, when you consider bringing back Josh Naylor. You've got the best catcher in the game, and it looks like he's going to hold it down for the next however many years.
Right.
Interesting, man. Listen, I think the Rangers, if they could improve the lineup a little more, I think that American League West is going to be fun to watch.
Oh, Randy Arozarena is another one, yeah.
Oh, yes, him too.
The only thing I'll say is like Makenzie Gore, you want to get him figured out too, where he stays consistent. You strike out a lot of dudes, but you also walk a lot of dudes too. He has like the Blake Snell early effect when Blake Snell was in Tampa, and he would strike out a lot of dudes, but he also was 3-2 on every hitter, where he nibbled and nibbled and nibbled and nibbled, and then he went to San Diego and said, "I'm not nibbling anymore. I'm just striking you guys out. Enough of this nibbling garbage."
Right.
If Makenzie Gore can stop trying to be perfect with all his speed and just use that, number one, you got a deadly his heater is a deadly weapon. That fastball he got, that's a deadly weapon. And then if you could turn that, because he got a filthy curveball, he just doesn't throw it in counts where you need to throw a curveball, right?
Right.
I just think people, you have to get his pitch mix to a point where he utilizes it better. Like, instead of throwing the two-seamer off the curveball and the four-seamer off the curveball, I would incorporate his changeup. Throw the changeup more. It's the same arm action. You get the same look as it comes out of his hand. Throw that more. If you're tunneling 98 off of an 85-mile-an-hour changeup, you got the game already halfway figured out, right? So I'm wondering if the Rangers can help him with pitch sequencing as opposed to trying to just blow everybody away, right? Because if he can figure out how to pitch while having the requisite stuff to get people out, he's gonna be filthy.
I hope Makenzie Gore uses this to his I can't even let it out, to his advantage. Yeah. Excuse me. Like, we are 1 hour and 20 minutes into the show. I forgot how to speak, y'all. I wonder because you got to remember him on the Nats, like, while he is still fairly young, but he was also viewed as the guy there, right? Like he was, a key piece in the return that they got when they departed with Juan Soto, when they shipped him to the Padres. But now he's going to a team. We talked about it, right? You finished all of baseball, having the lowest ERA. Now you add this guy who was the guy, or at least in the starting rotation, right? Because we know who's the real guy in Washington. Like, he's gonna eventually, we're gonna see that extension kick in if they haven't already had talks, but it's coming for James Wood. James Wood.
Oh, yeah, you know.
Yeah. But I wonder if him now going to the Rangers and he's now what? Maybe they're number 3. Yo, you don't gotta be a number 1 or number 2. Like, obviously, you still want to put it all together to get paid.
That number 3, him being their number 3,
you don't gotta worry so much.
Him being their number 3 is scary, bro. By the way, speaking of scary, and this is the thing I often wonder about. Like, so if he puts it all together, like CJ Abrams, I love CJ Abrams as a ball player. What it clearly tells me is that this new front office doesn't like any of these players because they are openly shopping CJ Abrams. Like, there's a report that the Giants and the Nationals got serious, but they couldn't line up on prospects and what really prospect value, what constitutes a trade. And I'm like, ooh, so if you already that far down the road, you really gonna move this brother. And so I wonder if the national front office just doesn't really like what either of those players in terms of Gore and Abrams are bringing back in terms of value, because for you to move on from a player before you even, get your notepads out, get everything out, get yourself set up in the new digs, like you trade a Makenzie Gore quick fast. You're trying to trade CJ Abrams even faster.
When they won that World Series, that was 2019, right?
Yes.
2019 is when they won that World Series. I could be wrong, but that was also the last time they might have made it to the postseason, right? So it's been what? We're going into year 7, right? Just about. Ever since they won that World Series. You haven't made it back to the postseason. You now have officially shown the fan base that to go back to what you just said, Stefan, we don't like what we got in return after finally winning that World Series. And, Armand's comment there is where we stand now. Like, we're gonna see another rebuild.
But I also think this too, and I think this is a point to point out. There are 2 different front offices that are now in place. Mike Rizzo made that trade. Mike Rizzo was the one that acquired Makenzie Gore and CJ Abrams and a lot of those kids. Mike Rizzo got fired. There's a new general manager, there's a new manager, and it's all new.
So there's no ties.
So like you like to say, players. So these players are like, hey man, I didn't draft you, I didn't develop you, I can move on from you quick, fast, and in a hurry. And by the way, CJ to the Giants, probably yes. Although I would move Willie Adames to second and get him off of shortstop and let CJ have.
CJ's younger too, yeah.
CJ's younger, and maybe if you get Willie Adames playing second base, you allow him to be better offensively because now he doesn't have to worry about the wear and tear of playing short every day. I don't gotta be the premier defender. Like, I could see why that's
And maybe Buster Posey could help with getting CJ Abrams to kind of focus, right? Like, yo, boy, you could live life, but you can't be wilding out though.
More from who? More from Gore and Abrams?
Yeah, the guys who they got.
Well, they didn't even see them play because they took over. They just hired the new president of baseball operations, I think. This year they had an interim guy that was in there. This new crew didn't come in until this winter. So you didn't even get a chance to see CJ or Makenzie or any of these dudes play. Move CJ to the outfield in San Francisco? That's interesting. I don't know how I feel about
CJ Abrams. He was actually an all-star 2 years ago, 2024.
Yeah, man. I've read Abrams' defense is not good, and teams would want.
I feel like CJ Abrams is like, when I look at his numbers right now, pull it up in front of me. So the year he was named an all-star, that was a 2030 season. He had 20 home runs, 30 stolen bases. I think his ceiling could be like 30-30, 30-40.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But you also got to think, like, is CJ's head in baseball? Because we know CJ's a late owl. He in the craps table till 4 a.m. Like, what type of example you setting for the younger players that are coming up to the system trying to become professionals? Maybe that's another reason why they want to move him, because they don't view him as the quote unquote leader that they can, you know what I'm saying? Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Trade TJ to Vegas is can't trade TJ to Vegas is crazy.
The Las Vegas A's.
Oh my god, bro. No, I'm saying that's why ownership brought them in, the new regime, so that they can. Oh yeah. That's
Mm-hmm.
clear from the way that they're doing business. Yeah.
No, the Jazz.
No, the Jazz is crazy. Oh my god.
I mean, listen, if you were to put CJ Abrams in New York, he just might be. You'll never know.
Listen, there was a rumor floating around that CJ Abrams might draw interest from the Yankees. I'm like, oh god, no.
Oh my god.
The last thing I need is another cocky left-handed slugger that strikes out 200 times a year. No thanks.
Next thing you know, CJ Abrams and Jazz Chisholm, they become best buds and they start hitting clubs together.
Stop. They're gonna go hit Cohen's new casino in a couple of years.
For yo, is it gonna? I wonder if maybe they won't go there because this might like spark like BS rumors. But I wonder if Yankee players would ever go there.
Of course.
You think so?
Yeah.
That would be crazy. Imagine them gambling at night with like one of these dudes on the Mets roster.
Listen, money is green. I don't care about none of that.
Yeah.
You could play for Timbuktu for all I care. You got the bread?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You got the bread? You good for it?
Right. Yo, Rick, that's gonna be the new hangout spot at one point, bro.
What? Steve Cohen gonna turn the City Field into the Forum where the Lakers used to go. There used to be a club in the Forum where the Lakers used to play, you know.
Really?
Yeah, that's why Magic ended up with all them Yamins. He was in the spot, son. You heard?
Damn, so is that where he got caught?
Caught. Where he got snatched. You know what I mean? Forget getting caught.
He said snatched.
Quick fast, bro.
Yo, that's crazy.
Just put up a 20, 10, and 10 triple-double out here. Yo, where the y'all means at? You heard?
Nah, a club inside of where you play is wild.
They did. They had a club in the Forum. I'm reading a book about the 80s Lakers right now. This book is crazy, bro.
That's a huge distraction for real.
By the way,
slots. Yo, Armand, that was funny, bro.
Man's got permanently scarred.
Literally, yeah, for real, man. Yo, it's amazing to still see him alive, man. Shout out to Magic Johnson and what he's done with his career. Not just in basketball, but as a businessman. Like, I'm not really into business, but he seems like one of those dudes who could make for a good mentor.
See, tinfoil hat for fun. Tinfoil hat for fun. Don't be so serious, y'all. I think Magic found a cure and ain't telling nobody, B.
I mean, you never know.
Son, you got diagnosed in 1991. It is now 2026. You've been living with AIDS for 35 years, and you look better now than when you played.
Mm-hmm. I've been hearing a lot of people say that over the years. Like, yo, maybe
you found a formula, my boy. You out here.
Maybe he's one of the elites, bro. I mean, after all, he is a part of that Dodgers organization.
He's part of that Los Angeles organization.
He's involved with like how many different sports teams? He's involved with the Dodgers, right? Is he involved with the Lakers?
So I think it's the Dodgers. He also the Commanders, the football team.
Okay. I feel like there's more, right?
I don't know if he's on the late. I don't know if he's engaged with the Lakers at all. That would be. I'm not sure.
Right, but I'll still add it because he won there and all that, you know.
Yeah, but he got businesses all. Magic got more money than the federal government.
Bro.
Your man out here doing crazy business.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of crazy business, guys, we made good on our promise. We're leaving you with this thought. He left the Lakers, but I think Walter O'Malley, the same guy that now owns, not Walter O'Malley, the Walters guy that owns the Dodgers now owns the Lakers, so he might be reinvigorated in terms of like have some shares, have some say. Like he may be a part of that group. But speaking of taking a plunge, we now have a Discord, guys. So the Discord is at 27 ounce 3C on Discord. Join the forum today. If you're on Discord, drop your handles below and welcome to the community. We're posting show links. Anybody wants to talk baseball when we're not live, you are more than welcome to join the community. We would love to have you in there. I'm going to be in there. Ivan's going to be in there from time to time. If you guys have questions, even when we're not recording, we'd love to interact with you. And we also have
Discord. Listen, I had always heard about Discord, but I got to be honest. I am somebody who is going to be learning on the fly because I've never had an account. I've never actually been a part of any other Discords myself. So even for some of you who might be new to this, or maybe you're not, right? Because there could be two types of people out there. I'm right there with those who don't really know about it. But listen, at the end of the day, we're always looking to expand, right? You already know the several social media platforms that you can find us on: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Obviously, you know, the YouTube is the main base, but I think the Discord is somewhere where, listen, maybe you guys get like early dibs on looks on things that are coming out in the future. You know, it's still too early since we just started, but just kind of seeing a way to get things out to you guys where you're still involved with the show without us actually being live, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no. So, like, if you guys want to go in there and talk amongst yourselves and have conversation amongst each other, that's fine. Just the only thing what we ask is keep it respectful. Don't go crazy with the verbiage. If there's ladies in the chat, try to have some decorum. If there's other fan bases in the chat, like, I'm not saying don't trash talk, but try to limit the trash talk. If you want to share articles or if you come across something that you think we may find interesting, drop it in the chat below and we'll give it a look. And we might even bring some stuff, up from the Discord on the show. So if you are if you are
any Latinos in the chat, this guy clearly too right here.
I mean, really, if you guys want to join the Discord, you're more than welcome. It's an open forum. But if it does get crazy, I'm going to tell you right now, this block thumb is waiting for somebody to say something stupid. He will not block you. I will block you. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to block you before I block you.
Now, if you say something crazy, absolutely. I can't be nice about it.
You are getting more than blocked. We might even block you from over here.
You know, they have this new thing where you can block people from one account, and I think any other account that I think social media knows that could be theirs. I don't know how it really works, but I think there could be a term for it. I don't know the exact term, but I have seen something like that in the settings where it'll ask you, if you want to block the account that you, of course, want to get rid of, and maybe any others that the platform may be aware of. So be careful, guys. If you're trying to come around making 2, 3, 4 pages, all of them gonna be gone.
Word up. And we know who the bots are too, because your text structure is very similar. We smart out here.
Right.
All right. So join the family today. We're at 27 ounce 3C on Discord. I'm mostly gonna be in the chat. I'm gonna show Ivan how to get down on it. It's real simple, bro. It's not nothing too complicated. Plus, it's an open forum, so you don't have to do nothing too much. We have our own, what they call a server. 27 ounce has his own Discord server, so that's only for the family members. If you want to join, Chad's in there. Emilio's already in the Armand's in the Discord. So Wilson already think is in the Discord.
Yo, Shrek is something else, bro. This man asked if Jazz joined the Yo, highlight that comment, bro. This dude. Yo, Shrek, why you always gotta end this show off with like a crazy ass joke, bro?
South niggas in the Discord, son.
Yo, remember the other day we're at now. What is it right now? We're at 304. I remember when we were trying to get to 300 the other night. Shrek was like, yo, Jazz, I know you watched it. Subscribe. Yeah, I remember all the crazy things you guys said.
Oh man. Anyway, speaking of crazy, this show was crazy. I had a blast, man. I love y'all. Be safe out there, man. Seriously, don't drive if you don't have to. Let the people out there that do this work, let them do their work. And we'll catch you down the road. Next time we catch you, it's gonna be a lot of WBC talk, some rosters, some more fun stuff on the way. Because we think free agency's pretty much done. Although Fromber still ain't signed yet, Zach Gallen still ain't signed yet. So if some of these brothers want to make up their minds, I'm cool with that. But till then,
yo, I haven't seen that name in a while, bro.
You know what? I'm out. I ain't playing with y'all.
Yo, Armand, listen, we don't want to get involved with those things in a bad way because we want these people to sponsor us eventually.
Nah. You making it hot out here, bro. Chill.
Shrek, that's not crazy because you be saying worse.
Yeah, that's mild for you.
Right?
Holy. All right, y'all. We out of here, man.